Hi, sturdy women. Hi, sturdy friends. I hope you're having a good week. I hope you're feeling good in your body. Today, I want to talk about food sensitivities. I've gotten so many questions about these, and yes, all of us are different. The way your body reacts to food can really have impacts on your lipedema and lymphedema symptoms. Today, I'm going to talk about some signs that you might have some food sensitivities. Hint, it's not all about your stomach. And I'm going to show you an at-home food sensitivity test that I've now taken twice. Make sure you stick around until the end and we'll compare my results in 2021 to the ones I just got here in 2024, see how they compare and if anything is different. Before we get into that though, I just want to remind you, I am just a woman with lipedema. I am not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, so please work with your care team. Everything I'm sharing with you today is just based on my own experience. Before we get too far into this, let's just quickly review lymphedema and lipedema. So both lymphedema and lipedema are disorders of our lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system runs alongside your circulatory system and is responsible for cleaning stuff out of your body. It's also part of your immune system. In addition, lipedema is a fat and connective tissue disorder. Keep that in mind as we're talking today. So what's a food sensitivity? Well, a food sensitivity is not a food allergy. A food allergy you're going to have an immediate reaction to, and it can be a life-threatening situation. A food sensitivity is also not a food intolerance. A food intolerance, you might think of something like lactose intolerance. That's a common one that we hear. A lot of times a food intolerance means that you are lacking an enzyme that you need to digest that food. A food sensitivity is an immune reaction that you are having to a food, and it can be delayed from 48 to 72 hours. I would guess a lot of people have the same misconception about food sensitivities that I did a couple years ago, which is that they think food sensitivities mean stomach, means you have diarrhea or constipation or nausea. And if you're not having those things, then you don't have a sensitivity to that food. Well, that's not entirely true. Food sensitivities can cause a bunch of other symptoms, including brain fog, fatigue, joint pain, sneezing, wheezing, rashes, congestion in your sinuses, in your throat. All of those can be signs of food sensitivity. Are you enjoying this video? Join our community. Click subscribe below and then click the little bell so that you get a notification each time I post a new Sturdy Woman video. So a minute ago, I said a food sensitivity causes an immune response. Ding, 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 ding. Did that set off bells in anyone else's head? Remember, your lymphatic system is part of your immune system. So when you have a food sensitivity, you're getting that reaction in your immune system. You're potentially creating inflammation. Inflammation is potentially causing swelling. And that swelling can encourage fat growth. That was one of my huge takeaways from the Fat Disorders Resource Society conference in 2023. Dr. Herbst kept saying over and over again, fat loves a fluid-rich environment. So when you have a lot of swelling, inflammation around your fat tissue, you're really creating an environment where that fat can just grow, which of course is what we're trying to control, particularly with our lipedema. So if you're on board with this and you want to start exploring if you have some food sensitivities, there's a couple different paths that you can take. If there are certain foods that you suspect might be bothering you, you can go straight to an elimination diet. Just simply take that food or those foods. It's going to be easiest if you only do one, but eliminate that food for ideally 1 month. And then add it back in and see what happens. If you don't really know what might be causing your symptoms, what might be bothering you, but you know something's going on, you might want to do some blood testing. You can do this by going to your doctor and asking them for it. My doctor's not always super helpful or cooperative, so what I've used are at-home tests from Everlywell. You can pay for these with your flexible spending account or your health savings account if you're in the US. And bonus, Amazon now accepts both of those. So I've done 2 of these. The first one I did was the basic one I did in 2021. And then just last week, I did the comprehensive one just to see 3 years later, has anything changed, and to get the additional almost 100 plus foods tested. When you open the box, you're going to find a registration card and some instructions. I recommend registering it after you've taken the test because it is going to ask you to put in the date and time that you took your sample. You're going to find some single-use lancets that you can use to prick your finger and get that blood sample. You're going to find a small card with some circles on it. Depending on which test you get, you'll get more or less circles, and that's where you'll put your blood sample. Depending on how much you end up bleeding, you may also need the bandage and the gauze. So you're going to start out by running your fingers under some hot water, shaking them, getting the blood flowing, getting that circulation up. Use that alcohol prep pad to sanitize your finger. Wipe away the first drop of blood, and then just proceed down the line and fill in the circles on that sample collection card, making sure that you're not touching it with anything but the blood. So don't touch it with your fingers. You want to make sure that it soaks all the way through the paper to the back. Then leave it out for a little bit, let it dry completely. Then put it in the biohazard bag that comes in the kit. Put that in an envelope with a prepaid label. Drop it in the mail. That's it, you're done. I mailed my kit on a Sunday. Of course, in the US, they don't pick up mail on Sunday. So it was picked up Monday. I got my results by email first thing Thursday morning. So the Everlywell test is not perfect, but it is going to give you a starting point. You're still going to want to do that elimination diet, but it's going to at least give you a short list of things to experiment with and see, could these be causing my symptoms? Just to recap, if you are eating foods that you are sensitive to, you are creating an immune response, which is going to increase inflammation, which can also increase swelling, which then contributes to that fluid-rich environment that fat loves and thrives in. Let's look at my results. In 2021, I took the basic food sensitivity test, which tests 96 foods. And then last week, I took the comprehensive food sensitivity test, which tests 204 foods. Both tests showed I was highly reactive to only one food, and that's cow's milk. When I first got that result back in 2021, I decided to do an elimination diet, and I completely cut dairy out of my diet for a month. I had been having lots of heavy cream, Parmesan cheese crisps, cheese, you name it, butter. I loved dairy, and it was a huge part of my keto lifestyle. Never thought I could do this, but I said, you know what, let me do it for a month and see what happens. I lost an entire dress size. 1 month without cow's milk, and I lost no weight on the scale, but I lost an entire dress size. That's right. I didn't lose any weight, but I lost that much swelling and inflammation. In 2021, I tested moderately reactive to 2 foods. Those were egg whites and yogurt. In 2024, I tested moderately reactive to the same 2 foods with the addition of poppy seeds. So for me, the highly reactive and moderately reactive categories seem pretty true to my experience, and doing that elimination diet with dairy really confirmed that, yeah, I think they're onto something here. Where it's a little bit more murky is with the last category, which is mild sensitivities. So on the basic test I took in 2021, I tested mildly sensitive to 14 foods. And then now on my recent test, I tested positive to 17. 14, 17 sounds really similar, except they're almost completely different lists. There are only 3 foods that showed up on as mildly reactive on both of my tests. Egg yolks, mozzarella, and white mushroom. Everything else on the list changed between the two tests. So for me, I'm not sure how much stock I'm going to put in the mild sensitivity category. I think the biggest thing I learned from taking this recent food sensitivity test was by looking at the foods that I tested completely normal for. Well, on that list was goat cheese. When I eliminated cow's milk, I eliminated all dairy, regardless of source. And looking through and seeing on the normal list, goat cheese made me wonder, I wonder if I can eat goat cheese without having symptoms. I know a lot of you are going to ask me, if I don't do dairy, what do I drink? I love nut pods. I put this in my coffee. I put this in my tea. This one is toasted marshmallow, but it comes in other flavors too. It's low carb. You can see there's 0 carbs in this for 1 tablespoon. And it tastes a little weird if you drink it on its own, but if you mix it in something, it tastes really nice. There's so many alternative milks these days. Just watch out for fillers and watch out for carbs. Looking to swap out your cheese crisps? Try pork rinds. I never thought I would like them. They don't taste porky, they don't taste piggy. They're just crunchy and salty and work great with a variety of dips. Have you noticed that certain foods make you swell, give you inflammation, maybe give you pain in your lipedema fat or in your joints? Let us know down below in the comments. Have you tried an elimination diet? Have you done any food sensitivity testing? What was your experience? Let us know. Let's learn from each other. Remember, all of our bodies are different. What worked for me might not be what works for you. For more about me and my journey with lipedema, lymphedema, venous insufficiency, you can head over to sturdywomen.com. I'd love to see you there. Mwah! I'll see you next time.